and welcome to episode 30 of It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where three friends with varying degrees of nerd knowledge get together once a week to have a chat about all things geek. My name is Rich Gittins, and joining me this week and every week, it's my buddy Chris Lumb. Come on out, Lummy.
Hello.
Hey up, how you doing? You alright?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm alright. How's your week been?
Oh, you know, it's been warm, hasn't it? Again, it's a bit warm. It's a bit warm.
I was kind of weighing up with, because it's a Robin Williams retrospective this week, of starting the show with, you know, Good Morning Vietnam. It's hot, but I wouldn't be able to do it justice.
Oh, don't put yourself down.
Imposter syndrome, Lummy. I just knew that Webby would come on being like, that was shit.
Maybe he'll do one for us.
Yeah. Well, let's bring him out and see what he can do. Come on out, Webby.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Come on, fellas.
Oh, Da Nang me.
What's the weather like out there, Roosevelt? It's hot. Damn hot.
How you doing, Webford? How's your week been?
Yeah, it's all right. It's been all right. It's a bit toasty, like you say. But weirdly enough, it's lovely and pleasant during the morning. And for some reason, it's at this time of night, it's boiling, man. I'm about to put a fan on. My number one fan in the corner, staring me out.
Oh, bro, or Joe with just a big leaf like that.
Yeah, she's my number one fan. No. I think we could assume Robin's my number one fan. He told me I was cooler than Michael Jackson today, so, you know.
Wow.
Exactly.
So you've been introducing, you introduced your son to which Michael Jackson Moonwalker, wasn't it?
All of it, man. It's all on
Wow.
YouTube. Yeah, he wants to see him dance. He's fascinated by him dancing. We haven't got into his history yet. But he has asked me several times when we play him stuff from the Jackson 5 or something. It's like, that's not Michael Jackson. Oh, he's the same guy, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But that's another story for another time, young Padawan.
Yeah. That's what I did.
Yeah, well, he's had quite an educational week this week, hasn't he, Robin? He
fantastic.
He learned about the dinosaurs.
Oh, that was amazing timing. Yeah, last night we're struggling to get him to go to sleep, and for some reason my partner, I could hear her on the monitor saying it's her birthday this week. We're planning to go to Stockwell Park where they've got a dinosaur exhibition. And Robin was like, "What happened to the dinosaurs?" And she went, "Well, they all died. They're extinct. Big fiery rock came from space, smashed them all to bits." So he's like, "What, even the baby ones?" She's like, yeah. So at this point, like, she then came upstairs and left his night. So he's there lying in bed going, but. So I went down like, look, man, Mummy's right. They are extinct. However, it was millions of years ago. You know, you aren't missing out on anything. And now we've got NASA who track the skies for things like asteroids.
My God, you had to explain the whole thing.
I did have to explain the whole thing. I didn't tell him that there's no plan in case there is one heading towards us. We haven't got a plan.
At least we'll know we're going to die.
Show him how Armageddon film with Bruce Willis. Just say, this is what happens.
Don't worry, Uncle Bruce and
Ben Affleck.
That's it. Ashton Kutcher, I was thinking. Yeah, so I had to then explain to him.
We've got an evening, boys.
Hey, Bob. How you doing, mate? Welcome to the show. And welcome everybody to the show. Feel free to leave a comment down below. We're trying to build a community here and increase all of our collective geek knowledge. So yeah, that was an interesting, informative week for poor little Robin. How did he get to sleep in the end? All right? Was he?
It did once I told him that NASA were watching out for us, and also don't worry about that. Worry about things that can affect us, like AIDS and things, you know. Just gave him something else to worry about.
Yeah,
brilliant, excellent. That's some top parenting.
Martin's here.
Martin.
Yeah.
We got Richard Branson. We've got
Space
the
race
guy. Absolutely, yeah.
They're not going to save us. They're not going to save us. They're just thinking about themselves.
After Bezos made it back down, I saw this thing about one of the people who won the auction to go up there, ended up giving it away, and an 18-year-old kid went up, and they interviewed this 18-year-old kid, and he was like, "Oh man, I never thought I'd get to be an astronaut." And I'm thinking to myself, you can't call yourself. I know you went to space. You're a space traveler.
they've said they don't qualify as astronauts.
Yeah,
they've already said it.
Spend fucking years and years and years training, man. Like you can't.
That's an insult in it to astronauts like Bruce Willis.
I think the person who actually won it at the auction, they spent something like $40 million winning that ticket, and then they just couldn't make it on the day.
I mean,
so they just gave it away.
The CGI of it coming back down was terrible, wasn't it?
I didn't watch any of it. I watched it. I didn't know what was happening.
I watched it on YouTube after.
I think it's fake news. It didn't happen. I've seen them all in Trafalgar Square. I saw them all in Trafalgar Square yesterday. It's all fake news, or the day before yesterday.
That's right. It's fake news. Don't believe it.
Have you ever been to space, Donald?
I've been to the space inside my head. It's a great place to be. It's the best space of all to be in. You should try it sometime.
I'd love to.
Infinite space.
Around Donald Trump.
Infinite space, yeah.
I would like to start this week with a bit of a correction from last week, actually. A bit of an apology to Quentin Tarantino, because I was going to say suggested. I didn't suggest. I flat out called it that Quentin Tarantino had an IQ of 60 when he was a kid. It's actually 160, which is a very different prospect, actually. That's an increase of 100.
Yeah, that's like calling somebody a dumbass and then going, actually, the one.
Yeah, you're really 3 times cleverer than
genius level. Yeah, apparently it was more that he didn't apply himself in the way that education expected him to, but stuff that he loved, he was a genius and still is a genius at. I'd like to make an addendum as well. I feel like I brought a bit too much thunder down on Django Unchained, and I'd only seen it once, and it was a sort of reactionary impression to the movie. It didn't impress me at the time. I felt it was a little bit unnecessary. Anyway, after our show, I've been watching a bit of Tarantino this week, and I rewatched it, and it's great. It's great. It's a bit daft. It's a bit silly, but it's definitely a good film.
It's a brilliant film.
I'd like to apologise for your apologies as well.
Okay,
that's fair. I'd
like to apologise for you in general. Sorry, we have to bring Lummy every week.
Well, we don't next week.
Here we go. It's started already. Next week, Nat's here. The great Nat's here next week. Yeah, enjoy it.
Sorry, the great what? The great what?
The great Nat. She's here.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said the great Nazi. Yeah. Wow. That's harsh, Lummy. I know your nose has been put out of joint a little bit. The fans like her.
She's here.
Like her more than you. But
8,000 views. Yeah, we know.
You know what, though, man? You're like one of them people who gets to eat a really nice bit of chocolate cake every night. So you're like, oh, this chocolate cake ain't all that. But if you have a visitor and they come round and eat that cake, they're like, fucking hell, this is amazing. What a beautiful cake. You're like, whatever. You've just had too much Nat exposure. You've known her for too long.
You can't ever have too much Nat. You can't have too much Nat.
I still get on with Nat. She's great. We know she is.
Yeah, she is.
I've
got the bunting ready. It's going to be brilliant. We're going to have a party.
It's not swastika bunting, is it?
No. Not after Lummy's little revelation there. Have we got any news this week, gents?
I've got some big news.
Ooh, a biggie.
I'm leaving the show. I just couldn't cope with all the Nats
competition.
And I've replaced myself with her. No, tomorrow, we just found out before we came out online, Ghostbusters trailer, the new one. It's out tomorrow.
I can't wait.
If only it had been tonight, we could have had a look at it.
Hey, I've sent you boys something in our little chat as well. Did you see that thing I sent the poster?
I didn't have a chance to read it. What was it?
Oh, it wasn't a read. It was just you click on it and it's a photograph. It's a photograph.
Do you know, I'm going to have a look now.
I couldn't find the photo, dude. I couldn't get the photo up at one of them clickbait things where it goes, hey.
No. The poster for Mandalorian Season 3. Now, what's interesting and remarkable about this picture is there's no fucking Mandalorian on the poster at all. It's a picture of baby Grogu assembling a lightsaber with the Force while he stood next to Luke.
I thought it was just fan art.
Not according to there you go.
I've not seen this yet. Can you get the?
So if this is it is genuine, but if this is something to go by, I guess it means we'll be seeing a lot more of baby Grogu and Luke in the next one. Series.
If you take a screenshot and shove it in the chat, Rich, I'll be able to put it.
Exactly what I'm about.
Let's do it. Let's get sued early on. Let's get a strike, earliest strike we've had. 10
Yeah,
minutes in.
Matt's just asked if I'll be live from the car park in Huddersfield next week. It's Horsforth, Martin, but yes, I will.
Okay. I think you should go to Huddersfield anyway. Throw them off the scent.
Oh dear.
It makes a little sense.
I've just had to airdrop it to myself, so just talk amongst yourselves, chaps.
But yeah, this is quite an interesting poster, man. It looks, if it's
I've not
real,
seen it
I'm
yet,
pretty
so I need to
sure
have
it's
a...
real. It got released at Comic-Con.
Ah.
So when's it coming out? Do we know?
It's still scheduled for after the Book of Eli. A book of Boba Fett. Yeah, after that Denzel Washington movie that nobody watched.
It's supposed to be good, wasn't it? That
it was a great movie, actually. Yeah. I won't tell anybody.
I saw that a couple of months ago. It is, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, quite like it.
Way better than I thought it was going to be. Actually, it's one of those things that I thought I had already seen, but when I actually got down into it, I was like, this is really cool. It's in the
what's it called?
It's in the branding lobby. Yes, exactly.
Because of Denzel Washington, you're not sure whether it's going to be cack or great, and it's good. I really like it.
All right, are we ready for this?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit of a blurry clipped screenshot, but
look at that though. Isn't that interesting?
So hang on, so was this at Comic-Con?
This is, hang on, I've got information of where I picked it up from on the thread.
That looks too good to be fan art, surely.
Some really good fan art.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, I know, but
people are really talented at it.
But that's really good.
I mean,
okay. A new official licensed. Listen. A new official licensed Star Wars poster shows Grogu and Luke Skywalker building a new lightsaber. The Mandalorian's Grogu might not yet be big enough to wield a lightsaber, but he might be adept enough to build one. So yeah, speculation at the minute. But the point being is that it's called the Mandalorian, and there's no Mandalorian in the photo. So what's happening, guys? Is it going to be all about? I mean, they can't just.
No,
they can't just.
Well, they're not going to have a CGI Luke throughout
not through
nine episodes.
Yeah.
You might just nip round for a cup of blue milk.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe. But yeah, you'd think that the Mandalorian might be in his own poster. Maybe he's been kicked out.
Well, I mean, they do character posters, don't they, all the time for stuff, you know.
So I was just wondering if that's what it was going to be, like a series of teaser posters before they release the big one. Also,
they know what to give away. If that were at Comic-Con, they'll be like, "Here, have one of these, get everybody talking." They'll be like, "Oh, like we just have."
I'll tell you what. Let's in between now and next week, I'll do a little bit more investigation, see if we can discover whether it's absolute bullshit. But I thought it was quite a cool idea. Cool concept. I honestly, after the end of season 2, I thought we were done with Baby Grogu and he was going to piss off to Jedi school or something, and you won't see him for a few years. But who knows? Who knows?
Saved by the Jedi. It's all right. Yeah, like a teen comedy with Grogu going around the halls of Jedi Academy.
All excited.
Can I just check? Is this going to be the first week where we've got no Indiana Jones news?
Well, there's loads every week, but we've just not bothered this time because it's getting ridiculous, isn't it? I mean,
we're just basically slowly watching the movie from scene by scene. You know?
Do you know what? There was some more video leaked again from it this week. Just go on YouTube and type Indiana Jones 5. You can see the whole filming in Glasgow. But this week's news, the guy playing the big, massive henchman guy fell over. Right. When they were running. They were running a scene and slipped, and they got like an ambulance lady to sort him out. He was fine. That's why we're laughing me off. But it's like that's the news this week.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, there you go. There's your indie news.
Have either of you seen, or are you interested in seeing the new M. Night Shyamalan film? Is it Old?
I'm actually interested in seeing this film more than I've been interested in any of his projects for like 20 years.
Well, I don't know if you've...
Something just tells me it looks... To me, it looked all right. I'd watch it.
So I don't know if you've heard this. I tried to capture it earlier on, but it had been deleted after the... After the hullabaloo that it caused over the weekend, but John Barrowman had been to see it with his partner and put a video tweet out, where he'd atted M. Night Shyamalan saying, we've just come back from seeing this film old, and we've just asked for a refund and got a refund at the theatre because this film is absolute shite. And then he ends the video, and it just created this huge backlash against him with loads of people just saying, you're entitled to your opinion, but atting the fucking director and doing it in this manner is just really old, especially when you're in the industry yourself. And then loads of people, and then loads of people kind of put their own videos out of reviews of projects that John Barron going, and like lines from films that he said that are really badly delivered. But he's hit back today, where he has done a movie review. Him and his partner have done a movie review, sat at home, drinking their juices, and they're doing a movie review on the film Trolls and how much they love Trolls. And it's obviously quite a barbed, sarcastic, statement regarding the people that were critical of them. But what do you think about them? Kind of, Lummy, you said, atting the director is a bit of a shitty thing to do.
I'll tell you what, I think he should watch himself because he nearly got fired the other week for getting his todger out on everybody.
Well, this is the other thing. I mean, look, I know people who worked with him, and apparently he's a lovely person to work with. So, it's kind of a difficult one, this. But, yeah, there have been, incidents where he's allegedly taken jokes too far, and it has gotten him in trouble. And given the particular sort of political climate at the moment, it is a ballsy thing to stick your neck on the line like that, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's all right doing reviews and things, isn't it? But the actual video, he just came on and just went, "It's shit, innit? It's shit." Yeah. You think, well, why is it shit? Tell us why, and we might. But to come on and do that, and like you say, at the director, it's a bit odd. I mean,
snide, isn't it?
What if he wanted to work with him later on in his career or something? It's like,
I can't tell whether it's like sour grapes or
don't know,
just not thinking. Or
I mean, we all see terrible movies, but it takes a lot to go on, and usually you go, oh well, it wasn't that great, but this is why.
Mate, I don't give a flying shit about what John Barrowman thinks about anything, so it's not going to deter me from seeing a movie. No. And if he's right, then he's just another person that thinks it's shit. But there's always people that think stuff's good as well, isn't there? So
I've never asked for a refund for a film either.
No, neither have
I know once. Me and my mate went to go and see Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and it was at the lounge, not the lounge cinema. Yeah, the lounge cinema up in Leeds. And we actually accidentally went on the wrong day and went into Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and we were like, this isn't the film we wanted to see, and they gave me a refund, which was really nice of them. But I've never asked one because I filmed shit before.
No.
I did see a comment where somebody had said that, I think it's in the Heights, where they'd said, I work in the cinema, and we recently had people actually asking for refunds for In the Heights. They came out and said that they didn't realise James Corden was in it, so could they have the money back?
There should be a Corden policy in any movie.
Oh, Corden warning. This video may contain traces of Corden.
or James Corden.
Corden barrier,
Corden.
Yeah, but if you accidentally go into a movie without realising he was in it, it's instant refund.
Yeah.
No questions.
I mean,
no
you take your chances, don't you? I mean, I've been to movies that were terrible. I've never asked for my money back because I didn't blame the cinema for showing the fucking movie.
No,
it's not.
I blame myself for going.
I didn't read a review or a film magazine or didn't know what I was getting into.
It's not their fault I went to watch RoboCop 3,
Yeah, that's not their fault at all. I've seen all sorts at the cinema.
It's stupid fault.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I was too dumb to even realise it wasn't a good movie until a few weeks later. No, I do it all the time. I did it with Django Unchained. I thought it was terrible, but it's not. It's not a terrible film. I wasn't in the right frame of mind to watch it the first time round.
Martin, I know you've been commenting. Have you seen the trailer for the Army of Dead prequel about the safe breaker?
Is that like literally the latest one? The Zack Snyder?
If it
is it a prequel to that one?
Because that film was an awful film as well.
All right, calm down, John.
Keep your Barrowman opinions to yourself.
It wasn't great. The start was great, but then it just sort of descended into just weird, nonsensical, surreal film.
let's make ourselves feel better again. Look, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, gents, what is the worst film that you've ever seen at the cinema?
The worst film? Oh God.
Is there a film that's made you walk out? Is there a film that you're?
All right, I've got one. Me and Terry, we went to see that Robin Hood with Russell Crowe in it, and it wasn't necessarily a terrible film, but we both she fell asleep and I fell asleep in cinema. Fell asleep while we're watching it just because we were a bit dull.
I've never fallen asleep in front of a movie. I tell you what, it's not exactly a worse film.
You've never fallen asleep in front of a movie?
No.
I mean, that's kind of what films are for. It's just like having a nap in front of.
No.
Do you just mean at the cinema?
I've definitely never fallen asleep in the cinema, and I've never fallen asleep, except when I was working at the Odeon. Oh yeah, I used to have a little nap. I used to have a little nap at the Odeon when nobody were watching all the time. But I wasn't watching the movie. I was supposed to be looking after people, so it's different. It's worse.
Yeah.
But
I tell you what,
could fall asleep quite easily at work as well.
What year did The Mask come out, Lummy? Jim Carrey's The Mask. 93.
93.
Me and my brother went to see that movie, and we loved it so much. We went back to see it the next day, and it was shit. There's no explanation at all. I cannot understand what we were. It was before we were able to drink or do drugs or anything, so there's no excuse. We went to see a movie, we loved it that much, we thought, fuck it, let's go back. And the next time, we're like, this is actually really shit, and I've never seen it since.
And I wasn't a big fan of The Mask. I've got to say, I loved Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber, but yeah, The Mask, I wasn't that bothered about. A bit weird.
Yeah, I like Cuban Pete, and that's it.
Yeah,
the worst film when I was working at the cinema, the worst film I saw was probably Contact.
Oh yeah,
that was boring.
Copland. No, Copland. Copland's all right.
Stallone one.
Yeah. All right.
I think Copland's directed by this new Indiana Jones guy.
Really? That's interesting. That's interesting.
Sure.
Have either of you guys seen any of the new series? And those of you who, I'm sure everybody's aware of it, on Netflix is a series 2 of the movies that made us. Have you seen?
Oh yeah, I watched them all yesterday.
I've been watching a bit of Tarantino.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them as well. And so we actually have another correction to make. About 15 weeks ago, we were talking about Back to the Future, where we said that throwing the punch in the diner. Was what's he called?
Eric Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz. Yeah, Eric Stoltz. But they've said, the editor in the thing last night, on Netflix, said that no, it's definitely there in his notes that they did reshoot that scene, and that the reason that the guy's taller is it must have been Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox's stuntman. So that's why.
Well,
do you not believe it, Lummy?
I don't know.
I don't know either, mate. And also, if we're going to start correcting ourselves, where does it stop?
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of corrections.
Pretty much everything I've ever seen.
Anyone seen Master of the Universe? A bit. It's all over the place.
I haven't seen it because I like some Kevin Smith stuff, but I've just got a bad feeling.
Do you know what? It's been controversial all week. This, and everybody's been banging on about it left, right, and centre. If you go on YouTube, everybody's talking about it. But it's one of them things where you think it is for kids. This thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like.
This is what I was about to say, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like those of us that used to love He-Man when we were kids still watch it every night and think it's great. It's just as shit. Do you remember the little lecture they used to give at the end?
The whole thing, like they did in Inspector Gadget and things like that.
You learned why sniffing glue wasn't right.
Yeah. Stinkor was clearly out of his mind on the drugs.
The original Master of the Universe, I used to watch it as a kid, but I was never a massive fan because if you try and watch an episode now, it's terrible. It really it is a kids show. There's no doubt about it. It was a kids show at the time. You enjoyed it or didn't when you were watching it back then. But now you try and watch it, it's just crap. The actual original. So
Yeah, all that shit. Do you know, it used to make me laugh is every time they made a character jump and then he landed, he'd land and he'd go, and he'd land like that, but a little would happen.
Yeah.
It's almost like inaudible, but you can hear it every time they landed.
I mean, it was of its time, wasn't it? You know, we enjoyed it as kids, but I think all these like adults who are moaning about it now, you think, but they really are moaning about it, like going crazy. And it's like, how much of a fan were you back in the day? Because do you still like it now?
Annoying, isn't it? I tell you what, though, I mean, even as a show, just because he's got a pink tank top on, he's got exactly the same haircut as He-Man, and he's the same size. Completely, nobody can tell it's him. It's that he doesn't even bother brushing his fringe over or something. I don't know, putting a hat on.
That's why I was never really a fan of it, because I just thought all these people in the tourney are dumb.
Yeah.
Because he's also got his green cat as well that you like battle.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Cringer with the most famously whingy, annoying.
Yeah. That's why the original. That's why Christopher Reeve as Superman worked, because everybody ignored him when he was Clark Kent. He had his glasses on and his stuff, and everybody ignored him. He disappeared. So you wouldn't believe he was Superman. You think, who's that guy? He's not Superman. Piss off.
He can't be a superhero. Look at his glasses.
So you're saying Prince Adam wore glasses?
He should have glasses and a hat.
Yeah.
And a comedy nose.
Yeah.
And
or is that taking it too far?
Groucho Marx glasses.
That's all he needs. Part your hair slightly.
The opposite way.
Well, they're going on about the controversy is in it. The all moaning that Kevin Smith has been lying about the true hero of the series. It's actually Teela, not He-Man. That's what they're all moaning about. And it's like, and Kevin Smith came on and said, "That's not true. It's He-Man. It's a He-Man series. It's a Master of the Universe series. They're all in it together. All this stuff." But again,
that's unusual, isn't it? Kevin Smith standing up and defending something he's done. That's really unusual.
But the thing is,
every
it's
2
like
fucking minutes.
I think there's only so many episodes out at the moment, so it's not even finished yet. It's like the thing with WandaVision. Wait until it's all on, and then you can moan about it.
Kevin Smith spoiled his next film for me as well. It's about to go into pre-production. Just scored the funding for Clark's 3.
Clark's 3, yeah.
Yeah. And he's saying, I can't wait to make this film. Got everybody back. It's going to be brilliant. This one's based on me because Randall spent his life doing what he wants to do, and he has a massive heart attack that nearly kills him, and it's all about that. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Can't I watch the fucking movie? What have people got against me watching a movie before they spoil it for me? Before it's even out?
Well, don't watch the Ghostbusters trailer tomorrow then.
Oh, how am I not going to watch it, Lummy?
I mean, I kind of didn't want them to bring another trailer out, really, but then it's obviously you're going to have to watch it. But I'm opening the door. I don't want to see Venkman in it. I know that's controversial. I don't want to see him. Just put another trailer out like the first one with the kids doing the stuff, and don't spoil any of the stuff with the main Ghostbusters.
You don't mind them spoiling most of it, just not the things that you specifically don't want to spoil.
What are you
That's
gonna?
What we need. That's the future tailor-made spoilers.
I don't want to see the end shot of them with the proton packs firing them up at Summit, because that'll be the end of the movie, innit?
How are you going to feel if it's more footage of what Webby was concerned about with the last trailer, with like the mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? If it's something along those lines, like something.
Well, we've seen them. We've seen them now.
You answer that, Lummy. I concede that now, because enough people have told me that they think it's a brilliant idea that I started to doubt my own sanity, and I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, I should shut the fuck up about this.
It's going to be great, Webb.
All right, I'm there, man. I'm there. You know, I'm going to see it. Of course, I'm going to go see it. But this one and Indiana Jones are the ones that I'm particularly bothered about. A, falling into that category of finally getting around to making a sequel that you want to see 30 years later and it being shite. And B, I feel like I've seen the fucking movie because it's just overkill on the internet.
Yeah.
What if it's Slimer? What in the trailer, Martin? I don't know what you mean.
What if it's lots of mini Slimers or something like that?
Yeah, put everything in. I want mini Slimers, mini Pterodogs,
mini Venkmans.
If you saw Slimer in the trailer, how would it change your opinion on it at all? Would you kind of go? Oh.
I've got a theory that Slimer's in that trap out of the first trailer.
Well, I've got a theory, unfortunately, that's probably going to happen. You know, but brings
They're
me
all
to
back.
the point, right?
Get them all back. I won't even be bothered if there's a exposition dialogue to get Sigourney Weaver in there who just says, "Hey, I'm nipping along with you, Peter Venkman."
Is Rick Moranis attached? Do we know?
He's going to be at the end.
Project.
He's at the end as a teaser. Bet you.
I love how Yorkshire you've made Sigourney Weaver. Happen.
Even if they've all got Yorkshire accents.
If I can join you on your latest Ghostbusting venture.
Yeah.
Happen.
She comes in and says, I'll be like, yes.
Oh, man, there's so much that could go wrong. But, right.
No shit.
Okay, what they didn't think through in Ghostbusters is the ghosts don't resemble human beings at all. Slimer's a person. We gather he's a greedy fat person because he's always at a hot dog cart snaffing down hot dogs. What does the person that Slimer was before he became a ghost look like?
Yeah, I've always wondered that because actually in Ghostbusters, most of the ghosts do resemble humans.
Some of them do, yeah.
In the library, the lady in the library, in the streets when they're walking around, in that whole music montage that they have when
I have an answer for you.
Money. Go on.
Right, it's cross-dimensional is Ghostbusters. So some of these ghosts are from different times and places, and there you go.
Okay, because it's the gates, the portal to Zool and everything. So are we expecting, do you think they're going to be crass enough to put a Harold Ramis / Egon Spengler ghost in the Ghostbusters?
I think they'll do it, definitely.
Yeah, I think they probably will. I don't think they'll think it's crass. I think they'll think it's a nice fitting tribute.
I honestly think that Harold Ramis might have thought that as well. If you look at his
that's why I think they think it would be.
I think they'll do it, and I think they'll do it all right. I think they've spent enough time on it to work this out. I really don't think they're gonna. I mean, it's Ivan Reitman's son as well, isn't it? He's a good filmmaker. He's not crap.
How will you feel if they have a cameo from the female Ghostbusters in it?
Well, they don't need to.
They might not need to.
I mean, the thing is, right?
They're not going to do it.
All right, they could do it if they want because of the dimensional stuff. But I'll tell you what, the humour isn't the same as the films. It clash.
Do you know what you forget about the originals?
I agree with that.
What I always forget about the originals is New York is like another character in those films. So the fact that you've always got the evil concentrated itself over New York, especially in the second film where it's preying on people's meanness and it just makes them even meaner.
But you also have the character of New Yorkers as well in there. It's really present throughout it.
When they band together, they can solve anything and all that shit.
Or when they're split with the slime and all that.
Now, with this one being set in like Iowa or wherever it is, in the middle of nowhere, is it going to be a Gates to Zool thing? Is Zool back? Is it a thing? Like, why would they concentrate so much evil where nobody fucking lives? It's in the middle of nowhere.
Well, have you not seen the teaser? They've got the Shandor mines in it, haven't they, in the trailer? So that was all to do with Gozer, wasn't it? So it's that mine that they're in, and you've got the thing in the trailer where all the gas stuff escapes and all the spirits. So it's all linked.
So it is all definitely canon with the first two films.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they show the clip, don't they, in the trailer as well, where it says, there haven't been a ghost sighting since the mid '80s or something. It shows a clip of them on YouTube running through New York. So it's all canon. Okay. Well, get all the main ones in and get Rick Moranis at the end coming in with a proton pack going, have I missed it? That's what I'm predicting the end is.
Sorry, I'm late. Yeah.
Do you think Peter Venkman will die in it?
No.
You don't think Bill Murray wants him killed off?
No. They'll either all go or one of them. But no, none of them or all of them.
I wonder
maybe they'll cross the streams and die at the end. There you go.
I
wonder if it's canon.
They have to sacrifice themselves.
Because you've got to remember, in the second movie, Peter Venkman's semi-famous. He's got a TV show.
Yeah.
I wonder if they follow that storyline through, so he's like a fucking Oprah level celebrity now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He'll show them all in their own various guises. The one thing I don't know what they're going to do, because, well, like we've just said in that thing, it does say there's not been a ghost sighting from the 80s, and you think, so there must be out of business then.
To do, yeah, exactly.
But then you think, well, how are they going to tie? That's the one thing you think. How are they going to tie the main characters back
Well,
together?
are you going to have Ray going back to having like a little repair shop sort of thing, and Winston going
he
off
has an occult bookshop in the second one, doesn't he?
In the original,
that's it. Yeah,
in the original script draft they had of Ghostbusters, at the end, they were going to be Ghostbusters International, and Winston was running the company, and they had departments all over the world, like fire service, they were going to do that. So I thought, they might have done this for this movie. But then when you watch that trailer, you think, they can't, because they say they haven't been a ghost sighting since the 80s. So you think, they've actually knocked that on the head. Then it must have all just finished.
So Ghostbusters female cast is a separate entity, like a multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, it must be because they're in it, aren't they? Some of them, some of the old ones are in it, but they're not.
In it, and they're not playing themselves.
Yeah.
So in theory, there could be a multi-dimensional.
They could.
In the future, they might.
Oh yeah, they could do that. Yeah.
Wackiest prediction for this movie is you're going to see a look. My wackiest prediction for this film is that you're going to see a developing love story between Slimer and Melissa McCarthy when she pops up as a cameo. They're going to fall in love over a love of hot dogs and chaos.
Cool.
If anybody else has got a wacky prediction,
I've got a wacky one. Right, the characters that they played, each main actor played in that other version, they all come out of a portal and they just zap them with a proton gun. So you got Venkman zapping that guy he played who sat in the chair. He comes through the portal in his chair, sits there, not giving an ass. He just gets zapped. And then Winston, the character he played, the guy who gave her the car on it, he comes out in the car and he just gets zapped. And then Dan Aykroyd's taxi driving character comes out and Ray just zaps him as well. That's what I think. Yeah.
Mine is that Vigo the Carpathian. It tags along as a comedy sidekick to the four of them.
Yeah.
Or three of them, or however. Yeah.
There you go.
Hey guys, and they're like, hey Vigo, how's it going? He's going, sorry about that whole Ghostbusters 2 thing with the slime. We go, it's okay, we got over it.
Speaking of Ghostbusters 2,
he got to sleep with a toaster. Yeah, so go on.
Speaking of Ghostbusters 2, the score comes out for the. I know you're all waiting for this.
I've been waiting. I'm waiting.
13th of August, it's out.
Holy shit! For real, or you just
Ghostbusters 2 score?
The Ghostbusters 2 score has never been available before. They only brought out a soundtrack with songs on it. So I've been waiting for this for years. Trust me, boys. So I'll give you a full report when I get it.
Are you going to do a box office radio special with it?
I think I might, but they'll probably cancel me show for playing the entire thing.
Play the whole album.
Buy that.
Oh mate, bless you. I can't imagine what you're hoping to see in this soundtrack that you don't know already.
That's where you're making mistakes. You listen to them, you don't watch them.
Yeah, but I remember the sound. I remember the songs from Ghostbusters 1. They stayed with me. They're brilliant, right? But I don't remember the soundtrack to. Were there any songs in
yes, there was a tie-in. It was that time where every summer movie had a big song, and the first movie Ghostbusters had a little song called Ghostbusters. And the second movie had a fucking song by Bobby Brown. There's absolutely nothing to do with ghost busting.
It is. Webb.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to take control.
It mentions them in it. It mentions them in the song. It goes
as an afterthought.
No, oh God.
How upset you are. I thought you'd be like, yeah, you're right, man. It's not a patch.
No, it mentions them. It's a good song.
What does it
How
say?
does it mention them? How does it mention them?
Does it just shoehorn the names into the rap at the end of the
song?
song?
It says, too hot to handle, too cold to hold. The Ghostbusters are back. And some at control.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely not added on afterwards, is it?
Yeah.
No, they say grab the proton packs on the backs. All that business is in it. They mention everything. Ecto 1. It's all in there.
Can we just forget this show tonight and just listen to Lummy rap all night? He's a natural rapper.
Brilliant.
He's a natural rappist.
Shut up.
Yeah, man, we could have a new show like that show Dave that you were telling us about last week. We should have Chris, and it's the Yorkshire rapper.
Oh man,
He just raps soundtracks.
With that yesterday, and it's absolutely crackers. It's a great show. It's really good.
Vanilla Lummy. Turtle rap. Oh no, that was a song. Vanilla Ice.
Brilliant. That was
Go
brilliant.
Ninja, go Ninja, go.
To you,
oh, hang on, was it
power
on the half show that the heroes fought?
That's MC Hammer. No, Vanilla Ice with second one.
High, muggings mysterious. All police and detectives are furious because they can't find the source of this lethally evil force.
I was a witness. Get me a reporter.
No, I was a witness. Get me a quarter. No,
I was a witness. Give me a quarter.
A quarter. Get me a reporter.
Get me a report.
Get
Call
April
O'Neil
in on this case.
You better hurry up. There's no time to waste. We need help like Quick on the double. Have pity on the city. Man, it's in trouble. We need heroes like the Lone Ranger.
When Pronto, when there was danger.
They didn't say they'd be there in half an hour. They displayed
turtle power. Oh
brilliant.
Man, this is
awesome.
the whitest thing that has ever happened on the show.
When you'll see me and Louis do me and Lummy do the rap from Dragnet.
No, I remember that.
Wow.
City of Angels. That's,
City of Crime.
City of Crime.
City of Crime. Don't step out of line.
Well,
I'm off. I've lost the track now. All I can think
that's
about.
All right. We
early 90s rap.
We lost 2 viewers to that as well. So
that's about it.
So, gents, we sort of it's more Nathan's idea this week. We've got a best and worst, and it is best and worst crime shows. Let's start with Webby this week. Webby, what is your best crime show?
You say I gave you the subject, but I think I've gone a bit off subject. I mean, technically, it's a crime show because it's about the mob. Sopranos, man. Can't beat
That's
the
a crime
Sopranos.
show. That's a crime show.
It's a crime show.
Thank you, guys. I want Shaw.
You watched it? I don't know if that one about the crime bosses killing people and.
Right, okay, let's not fuck about, right? It's not just a crime show, is it? Because it's about what happens.
It's about family.
It's basically analysed this without the jokes, isn't it? Basically, your mob boss in the first episode has started to have anxiety and panic attacks, and he's the fucking boss, and he can't show any sign of weakness. And it's beautifully, sublimely written. It's dark as hell. It's epic. It goes on. It's consistent. It ran for six seasons,
86 episodes.
The 6th season was split into 2. It's got an ambiguous ending which divided people. At the time, I didn't appreciate the ending, but then I went back recently and did a bit of research on the ending, and I think I really understand what they were trying to do with it now. Just a fantastic show, great performances, and it's one of those shows that's full of people that are scared to make you hate a character. For example, Tony Soprano's mum. You love to hate her. She unfortunately died, I think, around about middle of season 3, so let's write her out of it. They had more coming for her, from her character. And then you meet his sister, who's equally just as fucked, Janice. She's absolutely nuts. It's just great. It's one of those shows. Doesn't try to be funny, but when it's funny, it's really funny. It's got some really, really clever bits in it. Love it.
No, it's a beautiful show, isn't it? It really takes you on a journey, and it makes you really love this guy who's this horrible man, but it's to do with the traditions and principles and.
But you're basically in the same seat as one of his crew.
Yeah.
This guy that is despicable, he's horrible, but he's charming and he's charismatic and he's right a lot.
It's all the scenes with the psychologist as well, where he's sat on the shrink's couch, and it's all those conversations. They're just some amazing way. He'll have this huge monologue. He'll sit down and have a huge monologue to himself. She won't say a word, and then he'll just go, "Do you know what? Fuck you," and walk out. It's just like, and then
you got later on where he feels like he's falling in love with her and stuff, and he gets all confused. But man, I mean, you can sum it up by that first episode where he's there.
Triggered by the ducks.
The ducks.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know this, Lummy, or if you've ever seen it, but the first episode, basically, one of the highlights of his life is a family of ducks land in his swimming pool, little baby ducklings and the mummy duck, and he's looking after them, feeding them bread every day. And one day they fly off, and that's the catalyst for him just flipping out.
Yeah, he goes to the fridge, takes out a piece of Italian sliced meat, and then just collapses on the floor. And is like having like a panic attack. And it's and nobody knows about it either. None of his gang members or
any
his
sign of weakness.
Nobody knows anything about it. You know, I can't even remember if his family.
Obviously,
does his family know?
Some of them do eventually, but he. That's the precarious position he's in, that any sign of weakness means somebody's ready to take over. And there's always somebody ready to take over. He's got enemies all around him. So he has to put on this pretense for 6 seasons that everything's fine. Other stuff happens, obviously. The things that happen with his kids and them going off the rails. His cousin, Christopher, who's sort of second in line for Tony's job, is not doing so well. And it's just cracking. He's divorced.
What did the main guy die of in the end? He died, didn't he?
James Gandolfini.
Yeah, he died a few years ago, yeah.
And they're doing a Sopranos film with his son, aren't
They've done it, yeah, it's coming out. The Many Saints of Newark. Because I sent Rich the trailer on our chat saying, bloody hell, this guy looks a lot like James Gandolfini.
So, yeah, it's his son.
But he really does look a hell of a lot like him.
And it's about them when they were younger, isn't it? As they were up and coming.
Yeah, that's bosses. The other thing. You do get a lot of flashbacks in The Sopranos that sort of tell you the tale of how Tony ended up where he is, because it's historical. His family were in charge first, and and they're touching more about. I think it looks a bit like Goodfellas. You know, that impressionable teen getting involved in the mob. Excuse me.
Yeah, cool. Nice one, man. What about your worst crime show?
My worst is Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I've got to be honest. I've never seen it, but that doesn't mean I can't tell you. No, wait a minute. That doesn't mean this is not a show that's designed for me. There's nothing in to draw me into it. It's not my cup of tea. My personal opinion,
you don't like it.
I'm sorry, guys. You know, my personal opinion is if you're writing a crime show and it's weak or it's soft enough to be shown at 3:00 in the afternoon, then it's not my kind of crime show. You know what I mean?
That's fair. So we said the same about things like Kojak and Columbo and
stuff like that.
Hey,
you know. Sorry,
leave Columbo alone.
I knew you were going to say that. Did you know there were a Mrs. Columbo?
Yes, I do.
Yes, yeah.
It only lasted 1 season, so let's not talk about that.
Perry Mason as well. Father Dowling.
I mean, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
I never watched Magnum either because I was too young when it was on TV.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Magnum was brilliant.
Magnum was brilliant.
Yeah, Magnum was ace.
Not that I'm saying it's shit. I know that's got credentials, and I know he's driving around.
You didn't see the Magnum? There were Magnum. Just very quickly. The Magnum episode where he dressed as Indiana Jones. I might have told you about this before. In season 7 of Magnum, there was an episode like Indiana Jones where he was dressed as Indiana Jones, a big spoof episode.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to watch that.
Yeah.
What season was that?
Probably the only one I'd need to watch.
I think it was season 7. I might be wrong, but
okay.
Speaking of random things that happen in Magnum and stuff like that, did you ever know, Rich, that Frank Zappa played a villain in Miami Vice?
I have seen some footage of that. Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah,
it's just a weird one. Miami Vice, yeah. I'm just a little bit. I mean, for me, I'm surprised Magnum ran that long. I had no idea. Did they not say everything they needed to say with the first 6 seasons of Magnum before? No, we still got another season.
7th one. They needed
7th one with the best one.
Cleared it up. Cleared it all up. So that was your best.
No, that's his worst.
It is, yeah.
That's his best.
I never even knew those two were in it. I have no idea what people look like.
Neither did I. I didn't know if I got the right picture, actually.
That's what our viewers and our community tune in for, is an informed opinion. It's great. Lummy, what about you? Well, thank you, Webby. What about you, Lummy? What is your best crime show?
Best is...
Midsummer Murders. I knew you were going to do that.
No, my best is... it was a tricky one, this, because there were a couple where I thought, oh yeah, I do like that, and I do like this, and I don't. But so I actually went for a recent one because I didn't want to keep going for old ones in past, like you keep telling me off for. So I went for Fargo.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
I actually didn't watch it.
Dude,
I think I watched the first episode of it.
I'm surprised you've actually watched it. I'm quite impressed.
I've seen there's 3 series so far, and then that Chris Rock one in the 4th series that came out. I haven't seen that one yet, but I want to watch that. But I think they're all good, all of them. The first one with Billy Bob Thornton and Martin Freeman, brilliant, loved it, thought it was great, hooked, watched it all.
Watched the first season, and it was very good. And then I just sort of slipped away from it, and all of a sudden there were another 3 fucking series to watch.
Yeah, but they're all really good.
They're on Netflix out there.
Yeah, worth watching all of them.
I love the original film. The original film Fargo is one of my favorite films. It's great.
What were your honourable mentions, Lummy?
Oh, I've got NCIS New Orleans. I like that. It's got Scott Bakula out of Quantum Leap in it, so I watched it for that, and then I liked it. It was good. And Webb mentioned this while we were having a chat online about Sherlock. Great.
I nearly chose Sherlock.
You chose that.
There's a few problems
really
in
weak
my
episodes.
eyes. Yeah, a few problems. A few really weak episodes, but more than anything, the Reichenbach fall where they try to explain how he survived, but they don't actually explain it. You never get they try to be clever and leave it open to your imagination. But that really pissed me off.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that in a movie,
it was the wait between that and the next series that
and you
thought, I want an
This
explanation.
is going to pay off, but they were clever about it. Don't get me wrong, because first of all, they show you how it happened, and Derren Brown's there, and you're like, what? Do you remember that bit? Derren Brown's there, and it's all a trick in the mind. And they do try to explain. I'll give you a couple of theories, but for me, it's like that bit in Misery where Kathy Bates shows how crazy she is. She goes to see that thing, and the car goes over the cliff at the end of the episode, and she goes to see it next week, the serial. She goes to see the next part, and the guy survived it, and she goes mental. She's like, "You can't survive it. You're a dirty bird," and all that shit. You were fucking dead. And that's what it did to me. It did that sort of, okay, you've given me 3 false theories of what could have happened, but you still haven't explained what happened.
Yeah.
So, sorry, guys, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
But aside from that, there were a couple of weaker episodes. What works about Sherlock, though, is them two. They're just Martin Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch just brilliant together. I love that best man's speech episode.
Brilliant. That's a really good episode.
Very, very
really good episode. I think, that's the thing where there's so few episodes of it, and there are a couple of stinkers.
I will say this, because there is only a few episodes, it is very easy just to go watch it. Sometimes you do watch series and, like NCIS that I just mentioned, there's 20-odd episodes a season, and you think, Jesus Christ, they're good, but I don't, it's a lot of time in it to spend watching something.
To invest into something like that.
Yeah, I always forget that Sherlock episodes, only 3 a season, and they're an hour and a half a piece. So it's like, I've got to find time to watch. I want to make
a film.
To watch
it's
it
a film each time you're watching it.
Yeah.
Well, they were really well done. I think really well filmed and put together. And what is it?
The concept's brilliant. Yeah, Mark Gatiss. The concept's brilliant.
Yeah,
and
Stephen Moffat.
Stephen Moffat. Yeah, the concept of it is absolutely brilliant, and the way that it's produced is it's one of those really brilliant BBC shows.
And again, when it first came out,
materials.
I don't know what you guys thought. When it first got announced they were doing it, I was like, what?
I was like, why? Why do you need to set it?
But then when it came out, I was like, all right, fair play.
I've always liked Sherlock Holmes. So
I love Sherlock Holmes, but that's why I thought maybe this isn't going to work if they're updating it to modern day.
What I struggled with for a long time as well was the guy they chose to play Moriarty, who everybody loves. This guy, Andrew Scott, and don't get me wrong, he's all right, but bloody hell, he's a hammy actor. He don't half ham it up, and it were a little bit of a juxtaposition from the main 2 characters in this crazy, insane Moriarty character, and it kind of didn't sit right with me for ages until they started to explain it a bit better, and it got a bit more into it, and then I was one of those guys that I missed the point of. The point of it is you're supposed to hate the guy, and he's doing a really good job of making you hate him.
Yeah.
So well done.
I also like the juxtaposition between those 2 characters as well. It's really clear and defined. Yet you can. There's so much in common between them. For them to be so opposite, but for them to have so much in common. It's I
Maybe I
thought
should have
that was
picked
balanced
Sherlock.
really well.
It's fucking funny as well as Sherlock, isn't it?
But no,
Still
but it is. Yeah, it's really, really good. What about your worst one, Lummy?
So I went old school. I picked Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that. I just had a feeling you probably would love that sort of shit.
My middle brother, Richard, he loves Starsky and Hutch. Used to love it when we were growing up, but I've never been bothered about it. Never.
There was some classic American like Hill Street Blues was brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, Hill Street Blues is brilliant. It's the best theme tune. It's awesome.
Yeah. All these things had great theme tunes, but I would just never.
And Lacey.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I tell you what,
just never bothered.
Weirdly enough, I didn't mind the remake movie version with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson.
No, that was fun.
It's actually all right with Snoop Dogg playing Huggy Bear.
Yeah,
that's because it took all the things that Lummy probably didn't like about Starsky and Hutch and turned it on its head and made a parody out of it, and that's why.
I liked the film. I thought we were all right. Yeah, it was fun.
Do you remember Chips?
Chips, yeah. I used to think that were all right. I didn't. Yeah, on the bikes.
Do you remember what it stood for?
No, I don't.
California Highway Patrol, isn't it?
What about the I?
I don't know. I've always wondered about that myself.
California Highway.
Yeah,
Intersection Patrol.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what Chips is?
You only patrol the intersections of the highway.
I'll have to have a look. What interstate police, maybe.
You won't have an intersection on a highway, would you?
Interstate.
I don't know. I don't drive.
You'd have.
Yeah, it'd be interstate.
Ramps.
I don't know. I don't drive, Lummy. You're asking me for?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, no, sorry, I'm wrong. It stands for Clearinghouse Interbank Payment System. Oh, wait a minute. I might have Googled the wrong thing.
Or it says a lovable catchphrase character. What?
I don't understand. Yeah, it definitely stands for California Highway Patrol, but it doesn't explain the H, the I, or the S.
Weird.
Wow.
Lazy. What's a lazy acronym?
That is, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I guess if you're trying to sell to a studio, they're going to be like, "What? Is this great show?" My favorite cop show is The Wire. 5 seasons of pure, unadulterated joy, following McNulty and Bunk and Stringer Bell. It's just the way that they've created the world of Baltimore is just stunning. The way that the Wire ended up influencing street gangs and drug dealers around the world. It's just a phenomenal TV show. You know, the infamous scene where it's about 5 minutes long where McNulty and Bunk go into a place to solve a murder or to sort of investigate a murder, and it's just the two of them saying shit, but in different ways, and you kind of are able to shit. No, motherfucker. Sorry, it's motherfucker, and they just go motherfucker. And it's just these two guys investigating this crime, and the whole scene is just them saying motherfucker, and you figure out how that crime was committed. It's just a wonderful TV show.
I'd like to see the script for that episode.
I think you need the script when you watch it. You need the subtitles on, because you might be one of these people that thinks, "Oh, I've listened to a bit of hip hop and I've seen a few like gangster movies, but I think I got this." And then you start watching it, and it's like they're talking in a completely different language.
Absolutely. It does. Your ear needs training to start off with, but it's great because they focus on different areas of the city. So the first series you've got the drug gangs and McNulty and all the police force and stuff. Then it goes to the docks, I think, in the second series, and it just kind of moves around different areres of crime within the city, and
not just crime as well. It sort of explores the school system in one series.
The schools,
and
now
it's a revolving door for kids that go to school for a bit and then go straight back out on the street.
How this sort of disgraced copper goes into a school and ends up being this really sort of compassionate teacher, and it's just
and then the 5th season is more political, and it's about the run for the mayoral election and stuff, and it's
Thomas Carcetti.
I
thought it went a bit odd in series 6 when they animated it all. It was a bit odd.
Yeah.
But no, it's a brilliant show. It's so thoroughly rewatchable. It's the best crime drama out there.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought you'd have said
just
that really
remembered as
about
well.
Columbo, but
Hard hitting stuff.
What are you saying, Lummy?
I was just
No.
about to say the theme tunes as well. Sopranos theme tune.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yes.
So you know you're watching Sopranos because that song comes on, and you have to sit there and listen to the whole thing, don't you? And then the same with The Wire has got.
And it's Alabama 3. Both. So the Wire theme tune. They changed the artist who performs it with each season, but the first season is Alabama 3, which is the same artist who did the Sopranos theme tune as well. And they're great. They've done like 5 or 6 different shows out there that they've done the soundtracks to. I think they did some for what's the biker gang one? Sons of Anarchy.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Biker Mice from Gibraltar. Yeah, absolutely. And my worst crime show is Burnside, a spin-off from The Bill, following DCI Burnside and some of his team after he'd gone deep undercover and left The Bill for 5 years. He cropped up very briefly just before they had his spin-off show. It ran for 6 episodes, 1 season, and that was it. And it wasn't very good.
Mm. You don't look too happy on front cover. To be
he the reviews. And
I nearly picked The Bill, but as my worst one, just The Bill.
Growing up, I loved The Bill. I absolutely loved it. It's brilliant. You know, it's just a classic British, and it's a staple for most actors as well. You know, I'm kind of gutted that The Bill's gone because it's like one of those shows that.
They say on extras, you've not even been in The Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. We used to have actually the executive producer of The Bill came to stay at the hotel, a guy called Richard Hanford, and he was like, "Yeah, write to me anytime. We're always looking for young criminals on The Bill." And kind of really wish I'd taken
while you were taking his wallet off him.
While I was stealing his.
I think you got the wrong idea. I think they were looking for actors to play criminals, not looking for criminals. They're going to show up and steal all the fucking cameras and the costumes.
All that research that I did as well.
Yeah.
So there we are, guys. That is our best and worst crime shows. Do we have any comments about other people's best and worst crime shows, Lummy?
Crime. Sorry, I don't know.
We got Martin said best CSI Miami. Oh, I don't like New Orleans. Martin.
Fight.
I can't understand how you guys can watch that tripe.
So how many different versions are there of CSI and NCIS?
Not enough versions.
I actually don't know. I think there might be about 5.
And what's the difference between CSI and NCSI? CIS.
Crime Scene Investigation Miami and
New Crime Investigation Scenes.
Maybe it's one of them American acronyms that don't mean out.
CHIPS.
There's 3 extra letters in there that you don't need. It's just they just needed the C for cops.
Yeah.
I don't know actually.
I don't know.
They're going for the CHIPS route.
See, I'm already lost. This is one of them shows like you can never catch up on. There's so many different series and so many different variations. It's futile to even try. So I didn't. I just watched 1 or 2, I think.
Interesting.
I mean, I only started watching the New Orleans one because Quantum Leap Man were in it, and then I enjoyed it. We're all right. We're good. And then the one where they had both Quantum Leap men in it.
Really? In one episode or in a series?
Well, Al showed up.
Al showed up in one of them, and here we go. Martin, CSI Vegas, Miami, New York, and online or something. CSI Online?
What?
Well, I mean, they are putting a lot more money and attention into online crime.
CSI Online.
It's not quite as gripping to watch.
Yeah, your mic's not on.
Now let me look at your hard drive. Show me your pictures of your hard drive.
Go near your modem.
And then criminal just goes, what? Would it caught him if he hadn't
Zoom close. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Here we go. It's cleared up for us. CSI was cops, while NCIS was Naval Criminal Investigative Service.
What, belly buttons?
Of course. Makes sense. There were river police, weren't they? Yeah, New Orleans got it. Right. I should have known that because it's the only fucking one I've watched. Yeah. All right. that makes sense. Thank you, Martin.
So I had a quandary this week. I bought a jacket from TK Maxx. You know, TK Maxx got some nice clothes in, but we know that they're sort of the cast-offs have got a loose thread or the end of line from sort of a named brand and things like that. And you have to search through a little bit. But it's all this nice, light sort of outer jacket for like maybe walking the dog, things like that. It's a New Balance jacket. And I went to put it on the other day and the zip was the wrong way around. So instead of when you put your zip, it goes in on the right hand side, you pull it up with your left. It's the other way. And I suddenly thought to myself, are women's zips the other way around to men? Because if so, I think I might have bought a women's jacket.
Yeah.
Depends where you buy it from, dude.
TK Maxx, I just
No,
told
it depends
you,
where it was made. The jacket, it doesn't matter. You can have them both ways.
Oh, see, you're very modern. Look at that.
I think it's
a gender neutral jacket.
I think it used to be the case that buttonholes were on the other side as well.
I think your shirt buttons, I think that's still a thing.
Yeah, that's
I remember whenever I used to put my girlfriend's clothes on, I got really confused. No, but so you're telling us this jacket's, what's it done to you? Has it turned you funny? Have you gone?
No, it's a great jacket. It's really awkward to put on. It's just a pain in the ass.
Did you look better in it, and that's why you questioned it? You're like,
I wouldn't question it.
Look amazing in this jacket.
My ass looks all pert, and
I don't think, especially nowadays, I don't think you can really say that clothes are gender specific anymore. So
no. I think it's. I'm very happy if it's a gender neutral jacket as well. It's
be yourself, man. Put it on.
I wore it. Do you know what? I wore it today. I wore it today in the park in front of lots of people.
Make sure it matches your bra, and you'll be fine.
Perfect. I've got a nice shade of lipstick out as well. Gentlemen, we decided on the show last week, and it was his birthday last week as well, or it would have been his birthday, to do a retrospective about the late, great, dear Robin Williams. I mean, it's difficult to know where to start, you know. I mean, Mork and Mindy, well, Happy Days and Mork and Mindy probably, but I mean,
that is.
I know we've talked about this. In fact, three of us have talked about this. That we still get a bit sad actually about Robin Williams and hearing actually how he died and the truth and the story behind sort of how and why he died from you guys earlier on. I mean, it puts a completely different perspective.
Robin Williams.
I mean, first of all, it's worth mentioning this documentary that came out, this Robin's Wish documentary. If you've not seen it, I don't know what it's streaming on, but it clears a few things up that people might have questioned. You know, how did he die and what happened, and you know the full story. Because they interview his wife on it, and
well, she's like a producer on it. I think she's very heavily involved in the making.
Yeah, she wanted the storytelling because there all this media coverage and all these accusations and all this stuff. So it's worth a watch because it really does. You know,
there's this myth out there that committing suicide is a really selfish thing to do, and I don't think that we have the right to say that. And I think Robin Williams says that quite a lot of times. He says, I read a quote by him the other day. I'm going to misquote it now because I'm a tool, but it's something like, "You never know what's going on inside a person. You can never tell what's going on. So be kind always," or something like that. And I think that's the thing that messes me up about Robin Williams now is even when I've always known he was a manic depressive. I always knew he struggled with addiction. So whenever I watch him and he's making me laugh and booze, and he relapsed quite a few times. Way more recently than you think as well. So I always watch him with that air of, I hope he's all right. You know what I mean? Don't bust your balls trying to make me laugh. Just do you. Take some time for yourself. Weirdly enough, I think it's so stupid, but one of the reasons Robin Williams' death affected me so much is I felt kind of responsible or guilty. Do you know what I mean? Because
I mean, that's some God complex you've got going on there.
No, I've only ever
because you've been enjoying all the work, all this time.
All I've ever done is taken from Robin Williams and enjoyed him as what he is. And I have delved into stuff that not a lot of people have seen. I've seen a lot of his stand-up, rare stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff by him. And I felt like a bit like, you know, when you wish you could have had a conversation with somebody before they took drastic action. I wish I could have said something to him that might have changed his mind. But what I learned through this documentary, as Lummy quite rightly mentioned, is it isn't quite what you think it is. So during the last year of his life, Robin Williams started to develop tremors in his hands. And he went to the doctors and was told it was Parkinson's. So he was really worried about it, really upset about it. But what he didn't know is right around the corner after the Parkinson's was this thing called Lewy body dementia, which is a really aggressive form of dementia that can cause you to have the symptoms of everything he went through in the past 6 months of his life. So forgetting his lines is an obvious one. Not being able to improvise and be as funny, questioning his actions, not having any confidence. But then there were physical symptoms when he was sleeping in his marital bed. He was waking up with like big twinges and shouting in the middle of the night and stuff. All symptoms of this horrible form of dementia. But one of the symptoms of this dementia is it can cause people to feel suicidal. So what they kind of say in this documentary is not only did the suicide could have been a symptom of the dementia, is that he was on a death sentence anyway, and he never knew about it. He never got the diagnosis of this Lewy body dementia. I keep saying dementia. I don't know why. He never received that diagnosis, so he didn't know why all this shit was happening to him. And it's just really it's just another sad little sting to it, in a way. So my feeling is that he probably did the right thing for himself. He didn't want to degrade any further. He knew something was going on. I
mean, you got to watch, you know, the whole. If you watch the whole thing, you know, it's very clear in it why.
No, and it's such a shame because the thing about Robin Williams is the overriding thing about Robin Williams is that the only adjectives I can think or that come to mind when I think about him are gentle, kind. You know, it's just such a gentle, kind human being. And when you think about some of the things that he did for people as well, like after Christopher Reeve's injury, you know, where he got paralyzed from the neck down, he didn't smile at all. Obviously, he was in a fucking horrible state about it. So Robin Williams burst into the ICU room dressed, I mean, you probably know this, dressed in scrubs with a Russian accent, putting on rubber gloves, saying he was going to give Christopher Reeve a rectal examination, and Christopher Reeve just wet himself laughing. Yeah. And you know, and he was like, from that moment on, I knew that, you know, there's laughter and there's humor, and I'll be okay. You know.
They go way back, though. They
stood in Juilliard. They were at Juilliard together. But then you look at Steven Spielberg while he was making Schindler's List. You know, he called him pretty much on a regular basis every day to tell him jokes because he knew that the material of Schindler's List and making that film was going to be a really depressing thing to do. You know, I just think it's. I
don't remember Robin Williams in Schindler's List.
No, he wasn't. No, he would phone.
Just phoning Steven Spielberg.
He just phoned him just to make him laugh. Literally,
one of the nicest things I heard, one of the nicest people I heard speaking about him is Billy Crystal and his reflections on what happened to Robin Williams, and he's still got some of his answer phone messages. They would phone each other every day, and every day would make Billy Crystal roll around on the floor with laughter every fucking day. And he played a couple of the answer phone messages that were left by Robin Williams when he didn't pick up. Just really sweet. They had a really great relationship as well.
Did you ever see any of the footage of him and Coco the gorilla as well?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. It's just the friendship that it's just stunning. It's in 2001, and he just visited this gorilla Coco, it's just it was. They were so gentle with each other. Yeah,
this gorilla had learned something like 350 forms of sign language to communicate. So the gorilla could pretty much hold a conversation with somebody if they could understand sign language. So he's constantly asking the sign language lady, "What did she just say?" And she says stuff like "cuddle." She wants a cuddle.
Or you to lift your top up, so he lifted his top up.
And she's like, like looking at his hairy arms and shit.
Yeah, it's just such a really, really beautiful man. But I mean, I guess
he's a massive star, but you can see a human being. He's fallible. He had his problems and his demons, but also his career is peppered with incidents of failures, of films that didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
You know, lazy films and things that didn't work, and that goes on for a long time. So for every like Good Will Hunting or Mrs. Doubtfire, you've got Father's Day or RV, you know, some cheesy cash-in movie.
Whoa.
But you're talking about like the guy was capable of. This is why I haven't finished that documentary. It's about an hour and 10 minutes long, and it's made me cry 3 times. So I'm still 20 minutes from the end where the saddest bit's about to happen. I just wasn't. I couldn't go there. But the fact that he always wanted to be a serious actor was something I learned recently. I just thought he was so natural at comedy that he always wanted to be a comedy actor. That's not true. He started out as an actor in Julia, a straight up actor. So when you see things like Good Will Hunting, which he won a fucking Oscar for, and it's a beautiful film. There's so much of what feels like Robin Williams in that character.
Yeah.
The way he approaches people, the way he speaks, that everything, it just feels like it was written specifically for him. I've no idea whether it was or not, but
the thing is, as with most of Robin Williams' films, he improvised a lot of the script in that. So there's the whole thing with the scene where he's talking about his wife farting in bed with Matt Damon. Not farting in bed with Matt Damon. He's sat with Matt Damon talking about his wife farting in bed and how she used to fart so loud she'd wake herself up. And this one time she woke the dog up. And like the whole thing was improvised, and Matt Damon is laughing so hard, and it's all real laughter. And then at the end, and if you watch the film, you can actually see it. At the end, he goes, "Yeah," and then she farted so loud, she woke the dog up, woke herself up, and she went, "Oh, was that you?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was me." And I just didn't have the heart to tell her, right? And Matt Damon starts laughing, and then you see the camera shaking a little bit, where the camera operator starts laughing afterwards as well. And he also improvised the last line, because there was a line he said about something about love or leaving his girlfriend. I'm leaving to go and see a girl or something like that. And it's the note that Matt Damon leaves at the end for him at the end of the film. So he gives this whole speech. And basically he just improvised the last line. But Matt Damon leaves a letter in his letterbox. He comes out, he opens it, and they went through loads of different takes. And then at one point, bearing in mind Robin Williams had improvised the line about leaving to go and meet a girl. And he opens up the letter and nothing's written on the letter. And he goes, "I've left to go and leave a girl." Son of a bitch.
Yeah, he stole my line.
He stole my line. And it was at that point, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were like, "Yes, that's it. That is the moment that we want to end this film." And I just think that's freaking just great. I mean, you look at Aladdin. You know, he improvised the entire script for that. He gave them
too much.
Yeah, he gave them 16 hours worth of material to do that. And basically, he didn't want to do the film at all. And he didn't want his voice to be used for any sales of anything. He didn't want the character of the genie to look like him, because he didn't want to be sold as like Burger King toys or commercials. And Disney were like, "Yeah, okay." And he said, "Look, and I only want... I only want the minimum. I only want the minimum percentage as well." So they only got paid $75,000. Well, I say only, but he got $75,000 for doing that film. And Disney went back on their word and ended up using his voice in a load of the commercials and things like that. And
they gave him a
Picasso to apologize. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just.
I mean, let's talk briefly about Mork and Mindy then.
Mork and Mindy. So started off as a brief character in an episode of Fonzie, because the producer of Fonzie's kid said, "Can you put an alien in Fonzie in Happy Days?" So they created this character where, again, Robin Williams improvised again most of his lines. And within 4 days of this episode being filmed, he had his own spin-off TV show, Mork and Mindy. I mean, that's pretty insane. That shit doesn't happen these days.
I mean, it's so good as well. You can still watch Mork and Mindy now, and it's still funny. It really is.
What's
really
worth
funny.
mentioning as well is how he would always admit to being completely fueled by cocaine and booze at these things, and feeling that he needed it because it accentuated his zaniness and it made him work harder. And he never quite so much admitted that he regretted that sort of thing. And he only stopped taking cocaine after John Belushi died. John Belushi died so horrifically.
Well, he went to see him, didn't he? He went to see him.
Brilliant mates, absolute best,
Well,
really, really good friends, and they used to hang out a lot. So Robin Williams, he then for an entire year only drank white wine. He didn't go to rehab, didn't go to AA. He just drank white wine, cut everything else out. And when his friends had asked him why, he said, "Because I've got to. I said I'm going to die."
Well, actually, the three people that John Belushi snorted cocaine with before he died were Robin Williams, a drug dealer, and Robert De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess there's a bit of that blame thing going on there as well, where he feels kind of responsible, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking about Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, obviously Awakenings as well. Good film.
Oh yeah.
Jesus,
that's a cracking film.
Yeah. Well, he does loads of impressions of Robert De Niro in Aladdin.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah,
in fact, Jack Nicholson.
You what?
It's Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, yeah.
Yeah, where he does the whole listen here.
Well, he was
here's the deal.
Well, he was actually in line for the lead role in The Shining, but after Kubrick saw him in Mork and Mindy, he was like, "Yeah, no, that character's too psychotic for the role," which I think is quite funny.
I think it's really important as well that he's one of those comedians that made a lot of directors and a lot of filmmakers realize the power of having a comedian in a straight role.
Yeah,
he set the benchmark for everybody else because it's happened before.
Well, I mean, like
Jim Carrey doing straight up roles and stuff, and
he set the benchmark for the animation stuff as well. Because before he were in Aladdin, there were no comedians in stuff like that.
Well, no big
and Aladdin is
really either, was it?
But also, he's one of the only people who had to have all the animators working around him.
Yeah,
adding all of that. I mean, the Pinocchio thing, the Pinocchio line where Aladdin pushes the nose back. All of that, they had to make all of this stuff to fit the words that he was saying. That he was making up on the spot. I mean, it's
and another cool thing about Williams is Williams gets the Muppets. He gets them. He knows what they're about. He gets it, and he fucking works like a Muppet.
That scene that I sent you, that you'd already seen, obviously, it's so beautiful.
There's a bit, guys. If you want to search it, there's a YouTube clip of him meeting Elmo and playing with a stick. They're talking about this stick and all the different things and all the fun.
They have this little play fight, and it's really funny.
Alongside that, there's a little blooper reel of it, and there's some inappropriate stuff that him and Elmo both say in this blooper reel. And they're they're just cracking each other up, man. It's fucking beautiful.
But that's the thing. I mean, during Mork and Mindy, they had to censor him in 4 different languages because he is part Russian, part German, part French. He's a mixture of nationalities. In the alien bits where he was speaking gobbledygook, he was swearing his head off in Spanish, French, German, and Russian, I think it was. And he was just swearing his head off. And it was like a little while before the studio execs realized what was happening. They had to get a translator who could speak 4 different languages to be able to sort of say, no, he's swearing again, just get him to do it again. So yeah, it's he was always performing, he was always pranking. Really so when he did my favorite film that he did, actually, Dead Poets Society, it was a sort of seminal film for me growing up. It was I related a lot to this film as a theatre kid in quite a rough school, and I mean, oh Captain, my Captain. But Ethan Hawke, it was his first film that he did, and Ethan Hawke is this he was a kid and he took it himself really seriously, and he went in really method. He went in with all the things in his pockets that his character that Todd would have in his pockets, and trying to keep in the zone. And Robin Williams was just messing around and improvising, and everyone was laughing, and he's there trying to keep focus, trying to keep the Stanislavski method, in play, trying to keep in the zone. And Robin Williams keeps going, he's not laughing, and actually the tensions were sort of grew between them on set, between Robin Williams and, well, more from Ethan Hawke's kind of point of view. But anyway, after they finished filming after finished making the film, Ethan Hawke got a call from an agent, and he was saying, "Oh, hi," one of the biggest agents in Hollywood, and he was like, "Hi, I'm Robin Williams's agent, and he said that you're going to be a really, really big star. So can I represent you?" And it's still Ethan Hawke's agent to this day.
Mm-hmm.
which I think, just
he had a massive heart. I mean, and also he had an eye for talent. So he respected other people that were talented. I mean, his feelings on people like Billy Connolly. He's not Scottish, but he fucking worshipped his comedy. He was like, this guy is the real deal, and he really championed him in America. He was one of the first people to get involved with comic relief in America as well, wasn't he, in the 80s with Billy Crystal and Whoopi Goldberg.
He used to go over and entertain the troops as well.
He did. Yeah. But again, consistently and without without incentive. It's not like he was going over there because he was getting paid millions. He was going over there because he knew what a fucking hard job being a soldier was, having worked on things like Good Morning Vietnam, and like, yeah, amazing film, true story, just fucking unbelievably good. He's so good in that film. It's so good.
I mean, that was one of the breakthrough roles, wasn't it, really, I guess? Yeah. That was early on, and everybody went, whoa, what is this? Because the only film, I mean, we've got to mention it, the first film role he had was Popeye. I mean,
I forgot all about that. Christ.
Okay, now that is okay. I'm going to say something, and I think this stands true for most of these films, most of his flop films, even Hook. It isn't him that sucks about the film. No. Popeye's not a shit film because of him. It's a shit film because it's a shit film, even with Robin Williams. Yeah.
Well, I will say this for Popeye, right? I will say this for Popeye. Have you seen it? Have you both seen it back in the day?
I completely forgot all about it, but yeah.
Right. There's actually the American version of the film is better because it's longer. They cut a ton out of the British version to bring it out over here so it could be played more in cinemas like they used to do. But the American version, it's extending. It fills a lot of the gaps in. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I will say that.
And I always forget that Shelley Duvall is in it playing Olive Oil, and it's weird that you mentioned The Shining because obviously she was the female role in the lead role in that. Yeah. So it would have been weird to see them go from Popeye to The Shining. I'd like to see that. Is that on a certain level? I believe that nobody really knew how talented he was at straight up acting, and I reckon if he'd have been given The Shining, he would have fucking knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
I don't see why not at all.
Yeah, why not?
Well, there are so many films where he has played straight roles. I mean, Good Will Hunting, Dead Poets Society. I mean, they are really beautiful.
I'm just because you mentioned Hook a minute. The biggest regret Steven Spielberg says about Hook is that he held Robin Williams' performance back.
Really?
That he didn't let him go. If he'd have let him go, it'd have elevated the movie. He says it was like kind of he caged him when he shouldn't have done, really.
It was just in that really, again, I don't think it's Spielberg's fault either. It's just in that really weird time in the early 90s where people thought just throwing colour on screen would make a good film.
Well, it was Sony Pictures' first movie, this, when they formed, and they threw a ton of money at it. They went, this is going to be epic. And they threw a load of money.
It was a big summer blockbuster. Everybody went to see it, whether it was shit or not. Everybody saw it.
And I've got to say, the music's amazing. John Williams' score for this film is brilliant.
I didn't realise that was John Williams.
Yeah, originally it was going to be a musical, so all the score music, I think I've said this before on here, all the music's got lyrics, but they stripped it away. Spielberg wanted to make a musical, but then at the last minute he went, I've got second thoughts. So maybe if it had been a musical, it might have worked better, and who knows?
There's just more and more every layer you uncover about Robin Williams. There's just more to love about him. And one of my earliest memories is waking up in the middle of the night and going downstairs to find my mum and dad watching Robin Williams live at the Met.
Oh yeah,
from about 1985. Yeah. Where he's wearing a big Hawaiian shirt, and there's lots of jokes about cocaine and Hollywood in there, and he's just fucking on fire. And I rewatched it a few years back, and it's great, man. It's great.
Brilliant. Superb. Yeah. There's one that he does. It's in a littler club than that one. I think it was obviously before it.
I've seen it.
And the audience turn on him a little bit in the show, and he brings it back.
The place, isn't it? It's tiny.
Yeah. I think he says something about shoving an umbrella up this woman's, and they all go, oh, and he goes, now you're turning on me. Oh, forget it. He pulls it back. Brilliant. Really funny. Yeah, it just shows how somebody could control a room like that. It's amazing.
But he's like a conductor, isn't he? As a comedian, he's like a conductor. I mean, I know in Birdcage,
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's brilliant in Birdcage.
And do you know what? That's a really groundbreaking move for a Hollywood star of his caliber at that time to be one of the first people to play a gay man on screen. It was fucking unheard of at the time, and he knocked it out of the park. It's a bit dated now, like it's very, very camp and kitsch, but still, that fucking film still makes me laugh. The guy's playing, is it Agador? The manservant Agador.
Stinging it out of Simpsons.
Yeah, he's fucking amazing in it.
Well, there's a scene in there with Hank Azaria and his son where he where he slips. He's carrying a tray and he slips. Now that happened in real.
Why aren't you wearing the shoes? And he goes,
I
can't wear these shoes because they make me fall down. And it's just fucking deadpan delivery, but it's just.
Robin Williams with the tray actually slipped in real life and stood up and went.
There you go.
So in the film, I think the line is, and it's all improvised. He slips, he falls over, and he just carries on, gets up, and goes, "It's okay, it's okay." And then he delivers his line, and then he turns to his son and goes, "Go, go!" And as he says "go" a second time, he starts laughing and then turns around and walks off. But they're like, "Yeah, let's just keep it in there."
Yeah. But great film.
Do you know what's okay? I'm going to be the guy that counteracts all the good with the slightly down stuff as well, because what really cuts me up about him is after these explosive moments of making everybody in the crew, everybody in the cast, and even the people who wrote the fucking thing laugh their heads off. He'd go off into a corner and just be like completely spent of energy until the next moment, and it's like he needed the reaction from people to keep going, and it's just so sad. It's I really wish he didn't have to put himself through that just to make my stupid ass laugh for 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
But it's like Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, when he was testing out the makeup, he went to see how far he could push it and whether anyone would recognize. And he ended up going into a sex shop and buying a giant rubber dildo from the guys in the sex shop. You know, it's just like, and it was only until he really pushed it and went right up close to them, and that's where they went, "Wait, you're Robin Williams?" And he was like, "Yeah."
I mean, what do you guys think of Mr.? I love it. I love Mrs. Doubtfire.
Great film, brilliant film.
It's
some great lines in it.
Comedy. It's, I think, my partner's favorite Robin Williams movie. She loves it.
Yeah.
My favourite line is when, because Brosnan's in it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say we got the Brosnan.
Oh God!
My favourite bit is when he says to Mrs. Doubtfire, he goes, "Oh, your accent's a little muddled there, Mrs. Doubtfire," and she says, "Oh, so's your tan." Your accent's a little muddled there, Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's when he throws the
so's your tan.
Throws the apples or the grape,
like a kiwi fruit or something.
Yeah, it's a drive-by fruiting.
Yeah.
It's a great film. It's just, but also it's that scene for me. There's moments in all of his films where I feel like you see a real glimpse of the true soul of Robin Williams, and it's that
something
moment
in his eyes,
where where he's playing with the toys. That scene where he's playing with the toys and the studio exec comes in and sees him doing it. But there's just this real childlike moment where he's in his own world playing with the toys, and you're like, I've always just thought that is Robin Williams right there. That moment there is Robin Williams.
Do you know what? Oh, that film is really good at making me really angry because I'm like, why, Sally Field? What's your problem going out with this guy? He's a fucking genius.
You're
out of your mind.
He's like the loveliest man in the world.
I mean, fair enough, he might be getting on your tits a bit, but look how good he is with the kids.
Your kid really adore the pants off him. You know? It's just like,
yeah, but it were at her expense, wasn't it? That's what the whole idea
she's
was.
like the villain of the movie, isn't she?
It's got to be a two-way street, hasn't it? You know. But and then the good thing about this movie, it points out that they are better off separate.
Exactly.
At the end, it says, and the best bit of the movie is the end where Sally Field walks back in the house and she's watching the end of the Mrs. Doubtfire program, and she gets a letter off this kid saying the parents are divorcing, and she says, "Oh, my dear, you know, this is how the world is. Basically, it doesn't end with them getting back together. It's great.
It is. Yeah, It's a He-Man moral at the end of the film.
Yeah.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah, without the jumping of the shoulders while they're laughing.
But also, you got sympathy for Robin Williams because the first time you see him, he's being forced to advertise cigarettes and cigars to kids, and he's like, I'm not doing that. So he takes the piss out of it. It makes the mouse cough and stuff.
Piss off, Lou. Says the guy, as Porky Pig would say.
It's what's your favourite?
I want to watch it again now.
What's your favourite Robin Williams film, Webby?
My favourite one is definitely Good Will Hunting, man. And not just because of Robin Williams, actually, just because it proved that two fucking jocks that I've got nothing in common with. I was so surprised and pleased to learn that not only did they write it, but they won an Oscar for it. In my opinion, completely deserved that Oscar.
And forgot to thank Kevin Smith for his contribution to the.
He pretty much fucking produced that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole like, do you like apples? How do you like these apples?
How do you like them apples? Yeah.
Fucking great. It's just great. And the fact that he's talking down this guy who's Robin Williams has got to talk. This guy's so clever, but so full of anger and hurt. And he does it. It gets through to this fucking kid. He's like, do you remember that bit where he's like, you think, I'm sure you know everything, don't you? But you've never been in love, have you? And he just explains love and he explains the pain of loss and the love. And because he's looking at the painting on the wall and he's like, oh, I see what you're doing there. The black is such and such. And what I've learned from this painting is that you're a fucking loser. And Robin Williams is like, okay, if that's the way you see it, it's just. I love that film. It's a great film.
That character, Matt Damon's character, is constructed so brilliantly as well because I work with a lot of disaffected young kids and kids that are insanely intelligent or insanely talented but have never been given an opportunity, have never been told that they're good at anything, and there is that anger there and stuff. And so watching how it's that kind of one step back and forward, two steps back kind of element to his character arc. It's done brilliantly. It's portrayed really well.
It really sells the idea of friendship as well, and how sometimes you got to move on from your group of friends. And this guy's so intelligent, he can't hide it any longer, and he's not like his mates. He can fight, and he does fight, but he shouldn't be doing that. He should be the one. And when even Ben Affleck wins me over in that movie because he's like, look,
brilliant.
What are you doing here, man?
Yeah. His character.
If I come here tomorrow and you're still here, fucking,
I'm gonna kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And
it's just, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It made me look at Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in a completely different light. And I've always liked Ben Affleck. I've always actually given Ben Affleck the benefit of the doubt since then. Actually. Takes a lot of shit as Ben Affleck.
Yeah, same. I think it's interesting as well that they forgot to thank Kevin Smith, and when Robin Williams won was it an Oscar or was it
Oscar? Forgot
to thank his mum, the person who actually influenced his career more than anyone else, because he grew up in quite he was really a really quiet kid, but his mum was like a proper joker and would just entertain people and would like watch her in conversations, making people laugh. And he was just like, wow, and I think it's kind of, it's interesting because it's similar with Tarantino last week. It was his mum and his mum's love of movies that helped really drive and inspire his career as well.
I mean, I didn't realize how athletic he was as well. He was a really, really athletic dude before he was famous. He was like very much into his sports, quite well built for a small guy. Like massive love of cycling and stuff like that.
Well, he played American football at school, but the love of cycling really came in to get rid of to lose the cocaine addiction. Yeah, and he ended up being a training partner with Lance Armstrong, and they became really, really good mates, and they just like go cycling together. He's got a collection of like 200 bikes, or he had a collection of like 200 bikes. He just loves cycling.
And he deliberately chose to not live in LA, in Hollywood. He lived in Marin County, which is just south of San Francisco, and still very well to do. I think that's where George Lucas lives, isn't it? That really
ranch is in it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
And but he deliberately chose to live in a quieter area of LA and show up to his local improv class every fucking week when he wasn't working. Yeah, and just hang out with the locals. And there's a bit on that documentary on Robin's Wish where one of the guys who is his friend who used to do a hell of a lot of improv with him in his later years was just like, yeah, people say, oh, wow, you worked with Robin Williams. I'm like, no, I didn't work with him. I just basically stood on stage next to Robin Williams, feeding him new ideas and new lines and repeating things that he'd said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
a couple of guys who I know I've done some improv with online, you know, from New York.
Yeah, that group that you work with. Yeah.
Yeah, they've both worked with him. He told me the other day, one of me, and he messaged me. He says, "Oh, I've worked with him. Me and Tom have worked with Robin Williams." I'm like, "Holy shit, wow!" And they said, "Oh, it was amazing." Like, you know,
bloody hell.
Yeah.
What a dream. But he seemed like quite an approachable guy to me. If I bumped into him on the street, I would have gone up and said hi. You know what I mean? You feel like you know a little bit more than you're supposed to do about him. I'm not sure. Maybe it is something in his eyes. His eyes, something about that. The very core of his funniness, his sadness, and his talent at acting all comes from his eyes.
It is that thing though, like you say. I think when he died, it is that thing, you can't believe it, can you? You know, when he did die, you were like, what?
I was really. I'm still sad about it. We named Robin after Robin Williams, like that's who our son's name was.
Doesn't make sense, does it? That he died. Really, you know, you can't believe it, can you? When you read, I mean, some people die and you think, oh, they were old, and some actors and that, and you think, yeah, fair enough. But
you know what it is with him, man? It's that from the minute I switched the telly on, he was on it. Do you know what I mean? There was always something with Robin Williams around in my world. So I grew up with him, literally. I saw everything he did. I've even seen the obscure shit like The World According to Garp. I really love The Fisher King as well. Fisher King's a great movie. Not just for him, but fucking Jeff Bridges in that movie is amazing. Yeah. It's a cracking film.
Jumanji, there's a few we haven't mentioned.
Jumanji,
even Jumanji again. Another. He had a habit of making his what should be like summer blockbusters, leave it at that, but he made them watchable. And Jumanji,
definitely.
Jumanji's a cracking film.
I'm just looking what else we got lined up there. Toys, did you see that one?
Yeah, I've seen Toys. Again, he isn't the problem with that film.
No.
Flubber, another Disney.
So I remember I worked at the Odeon when Flubber was on.
Yeah.
It was on. We put it on Disney Plus for Robin the other week, and he loved it.
Yeah,
we've got Jack. Do you remember that one?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, now is that the one where he's a boy is like an 8-year-old boy, but he looks like an 8-year-old man.
But he looks like Robin Williams. Yeah.
Ages quickly,
and again, he is. I mean,
oh man, Bill Cosby's
he is everything in that film.
Bill Cosby's in it.
Is he really?
I haven't seen it for ages.
Sure it's Bill Cosby because there's a bit where he invites all the kids over to his house once he gets to know the local kids, and they realize once they meet him, they know he's a kid because he acts like a kid. So he gets them all to come over, and he says, "Do you want to go in my treehouse?" And they all end up in Jack's treehouse in the garden, and they're singing that song. Is why is everybody always hitting on me, not tripping on me or something like that? And he does a really big fart, and the fucking treehouse falls down, and all the kids are in a pile of rubble at the bottom. And Robin Williams suddenly goes, "Why is everybody always farting on me?" And all the kids are fucking. It's a cracking film.
I haven't seen it for ages.
It's a great film, man. I love that shit.
But two serious ones. Then here we go. 1 hour photo.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Love it.
Great psychopath in that film.
You've not seen it, Rich?
No.
Oh, man.
Oh, you need to watch that. It's so good.
It's about a guy who works in a photo developing place that is 1 hour photos, but is also a fucking serial killer.
Okay.
No.
Kinda.
Maybe. Don't spoil it. You need to watch it. But Insomnia as well. I don't know if these came out at a similar time, but I remember seeing this at cinema. I really liked that.
Insomnia was where he relapsed when he was in Alaska or Canada when they were filming this, and he just decided to start drinking again after a massive period of not drinking, and it really fucked him over. And again, he learned a load of lessons because I saw an interview with him on one of these Conan or Michael Parkinson or something. You know, it's loads and loads. He was so welcomed on these chat shows. He's on millions of them.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where he started talking about regretting, like, that it'd been free of alcohol for fucking years and years and years, and all of a sudden he felt so lonely and down when he was making this movie in the middle of the nowhere. He just thought, fuck it, and Yeah,
Wow.
he's just so open about it. He's just so frank about it.
But there's
no apology about being human there. You know what I mean? So of course I fucked up. I'm human.
But I'm gonna check some of these films out again. You know, once we're going through them, because you think, oh, I hadn't seen that for it. Like that Insomnia, I remember really enjoying that, and I can't remember what happens in it at all. So I'm gonna check that out again. But,
I seem to remember his death was the most trending news story and the most talked about news story of the year. Not the most. I think it was like the fourth most talked about news story of the year worldwide. That kind of says a lot about what Robin Williams meant to everybody.
Some celebrities, some actors, some musicians come along and they feel like they exist just for your pleasure, and I think he's one of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can guarantee you that within maybe 2 weeks of meeting Lummy, we would have had a conversation about Robin Williams movies and probably quoted some of his funniest lines and shit, because it was just... Once you discovered another, oh, you like him as well. What about this? What about this? What about you know? Yeah. And that's before Good Will Hunting. You know what I mean? That's before the serious roles.
Yeah. But there's, you know, you spoke about this RV film earlier. This one, I've seen it a few times, that film, because it's just one of them things where you put it on and just go, I'm having an enjoyable time.
Yeah, totally. No, I get that exactly.
It's just utterly hilarious. I didn't know. Put the poster back up. Spectacularly hilarious.
Spectacular hilarious.
Maybe I need to rewatch it.
And it's got, what's the name in it? What's his name? Larry David's on-screen wife. Cheryl Hines, that's it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But it is what it is. If you like Robin Williams, just watch it, man. If you're not seeing it. But there's other... Patch Adams, what do you think of that one?
Oh, yeah, Patch Adams.
Patch Adams is great. Yeah.
It's a great idea. Again, based on a true story, innit? So at one point, again, if you need somebody to play that kind of role, he's your man, isn't he?
Yeah. Have you ever seen this one? Here you go. Here's one for you. Bicentennial Man.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I didn't like
that. Was a strange one that kind of slipped through the. It came out and then nobody really mentioned it again, did they? It was.
No. Was it AI as well?
It was around about the same time as that.
AI just voiced a character in that, didn't he? Voiced that. There's like a scientist in it, a doctor. It's like a computer thing in it. What Dreams May Come? You remember that one?
Yeah, I do. That's the one where he fucking loves his wife so much that he busts into heaven to go find her. It's crazy. It's not my favourite.
No. Just know that. And then have you seen World's Greatest Dad?
That's crazy, that one. That is a brilliant film. Right, Rich, that's directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, who was his best man at his wedding, They were really good friends. At his last wedding, he was his best man. I'm not sure if he was before. But that's a really weird film. Is that the one about the kid that kills himself?
Yeah.
Or he accidentally hangs himself trying to perform auto asphyxiation or whatever it is on himself. And Robin Williams discovers the body but creates this entire lie of how he died instead of telling the truth that he killed himself by accident and it was a big mess. It's fucking crazy. It's really dark.
He kind of writes his journals, doesn't he? Starts getting them published because he's a failed writer, is Robin Williams' character. But when this happens, all his writing through his son takes off and makes him into an author. Yeah, it's...
He did a few really, really off-the-cuff ones towards the end, didn't he? A bit like that. A bit like... I can't remember the names. I'm going to have a little look.
What's your favourite one then, Rich? We've asked Nathan. What's your favourite Robin Williams?
Dead Poets Society.
Yeah.
I love that film. Like I said, for me growing up, it was a really important film. And it's just a really... Again, one of his first real serious roles.
Yeah. They're all notable, aren't they, these things? My favourite, I've got to pick Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, because I think everything's in there as well that sums him up.
Yeah,
you've got
you're absolutely right.
From starting off with the animation. Say again.
Except for swearing. He was an adult comedian and he was really good at swearing. He was really good at it. He knew when to apply a curse word and he, put his passion.
You're right, Webb. You're right.
If it was a bit more X-rated, I'd agree with you. But I like sweary Robin.
Yeah.
I like it when he swears a bit.
Yeah, it would have been funny if like Mrs. Doubtfire dropped something and went, "Oh, shitty balls" or something like that. Just a little bit of,
fucking bastard.
No,
I think
yeah, a little
she does
Simpson.
actually. Right, there's
Or
a bit
you
where the
little
guy,
prick or something like
the
that.
bit where the mugger grabs a bag and she like flings it off him and says, "You broke my bag, you bastard."
Oh yeah,
There you go.
forget it. Yeah, you're right. I forget
Yeah,
it.
there you are.
There you go.
Yeah.
I knew the bit one in there.
Because I know that I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's worth tracking down. He did a TV show shortly before he died, a couple of years before he died, called The Crazy Ones, where he plays the head of an advertising firm in LA, and Sarah Michelle Gellar plays his daughter, protege. And he's fucking wicked on it. But again, it was mentioned in this documentary because that's when he's starting to forget his lines. And he was asking the director all the time, "Is this good? Is this good? I don't know what's good anymore."
That was Night at the Museum 3. We're doing that with the director
as well.
Right,
But he was doing it on the Crazy Ones as well, because there's that other guy on that documentary, Lummy. There's an old bald guy, and he's the director of the Crazy Ones, and he's saying a similar thing to Sean Lewy.
The good thing about that Crazy Ones, they actually did an episode when it nearly finished. I think literally the last few episodes. They had an episode with Pam Dauber in it with him.
They did, yeah. As an old love interest.
Yeah, so that was nice. That kind of tied everything.
Yeah, it was an unusual show, but it was perfect vehicle for Robin Williams, man.
Mm.
Yeah, it was good.
Ah, man. Do you think there will ever be another Robin Williams?
Nah.
Somebody that is able to enchant and to create such magic on screen for both children and for adults. So somebody who allows adults to feel childlike again.
I got it. I know exactly who it is.
Go on.
What's he called? Justin Fletcher, Mr. Tumble, is the new Robin Williams. expect big things. Mr. Tumble is a character that Robin Williams could have played in a film, I think. But no, I don't think there is. And I think part of it is because it's a different time now. He was back in the analog time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He went right through that, when movies were still filmed on film.
Robin Williams was one of the first pioneers of the internet. When the internet first came out, he took to it straight away. He'd be on chat rooms all the time. He's a huge fan of Call of Duty and war games like that. He said apparently he never actually gave details of what he actually said, but he would play online with kids and stuff because he was an older man. His just reflexes weren't as good, but he would give kids a torrent of abuse, but he'd remain anonymous. So all these kids out there who have played Call of Duty against Robin Williams and have been massively abused by Robin Williams, and they have no idea it's Robin Williams. Also, when it came down to the advertising thing, that was a really big thing. He would not advertise anything that he thought was unsuitable, and one of the only things he did advertise, and it made me think of you actually, Webby, because I know you're a big fan, and it's also the name of his daughter, Zelda. He's huge Zelda fan, and I think that just shows something else about this guy. Okay, look, he was a drug addict, he had his issues, he had a potty mouth, he had some risque comedy, but morally this guy was just, I think he was just up there with some of the best humans on the planet.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at some of his most quoted jokes to see if there's anything that we could end it on a happy note, because he was a fucking funny bloke as well. But so far, there's a couple of again. I watched his recent one. What was the one he did? The stand-up he did in DC that was around about the time, just something about George Bush, weapons of mass destruction or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It wasn't great, but his later jokes aren't quite as good.
There's the Broadway one. He won some awards for live on Broadway. That one was, in fact, I don't know if I've got it.
All right, we got one little joke there. You got, the difference between a tornado and a divorce in the South? Nothing. Either way, someone's losing a trailer.
Oh, here we go. I've got something for you. Right. Our old friend Dave Jones.
Okay.
right? You know Dave Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He brought me this back. I can't believe I only just remembered I've got it there side at the table there. He brought me this back from when he went to New York. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
And I've kept it.
That's awesome. What's the date on it? 14th
Sunday,
of July?
July 14th.
But you don't know what year?
No. But it'll be a long time. Look at it.
But
I've always kept
awesome.
it. Just remembered then.
It's a shame it's not magnetic, Lummy. You could stick it on your magnet board behind you.
I'll put it there. Still can. All I have to do is put a magnet on it.
Gentlemen, is there anything else that you would like to say about Robin Williams or about his work or about anything else that we've talked about tonight on the show? Lummy, is there any
I'm feeling all reflective. I'm feeling all reflective about it.
I feel like I want to go watch some of his films now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, that is the beauty of doing this show. Is like last week I ended up going and spending the week watching loads of Tarantino films. This week I definitely will be wanting to rewatch Good Will Hunting, Dead Poets Society, and Mrs. Doubtfire.
You should hunt out a couple that you haven't seen by him as well, because there's a couple of really good things out there. Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't want to end it on a down note. I wish that Robin Williams was still here for everybody to enjoy, but his movies are still there. There's tons of stuff on YouTube, a lot of his stand-up. And I think
I'll tell you what,
I feel like I'm a richer person from experiencing people like Robin Williams. Do you know what I mean?
There's also, what you haven't mentioned, his talk show appearances are so good.
Yeah, they are.
You know, they're all on YouTube
every
as well.
Parkinson one is just a diamond, just brilliant.
Yeah,
his balls, the way he would just mimic anybody, even if it wasn't a perfect impression, he'd still have a go, you know. And just the fucking hell, the lightning fast brain he's got when he's actually doing that improv. Most of it's just coming off the top of his head.
Yeah.
Again, that's what he admired about Billy Connolly. I often had conversations about the fact that neither of them wrote material; they just showed up. Billy Connolly would show up and make observations about shit he'd seen in the past few months or years, and didn't tell any jokes. Robin Williams didn't get up and tell jokes. Just like a series of rapid, quick-fire things from his brain. Yeah, awesome guy. Rest in peace.
Absolutely. Lummy, well, actually, Webby, what have you got going on this week? Is there anything you're going to be watching this week? Any recommendations for...
I've still got to finish a couple of the tail end of the Tarantino stuff. I'm watching a couple more. I've got a couple more to watch. I've still got to watch... I'm looking at my pile. Kill Bill, Hateful Eight, and that's it. I think I've watched everything else I want to watch.
There is something that I completely forgot to tell you about the news. The guy who played Daredevil, Charlie Cox. Is it
Cox?
Is it
Charlie Cox, isn't it?
Okay,
I think so.
I'm not sure. He had to leave or not appear at an appearance that he was supposed to do, like a Comic-Con type thing. Yes, and they are thinking that he's had to go and potentially reshoot some scenes for the new Spider-Man film. They think that Daredevil might be making an appearance in it.
Charlie Cox.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome, man. I mean, awesome. Daredevil is one of those characters that, should he find his way into the MCU, will probably find a whole new legion of fans.
Yeah.
But my favorite, well, one of my personal favorite comic book characters.
Yeah.
I thank Lee Lindley from college for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Lummy, what's going on for you this week? What's happening on Box Office Radio?
Oh, yes. So tomorrow night, Robin's back. Here we go. I've got my little banner up. There he is. So tomorrow night, 8:00. Yeah, we're doing music from the films of Robin Williams. So we got a lot of. I crammed as many tracks in as I could for this one. So
nice. Have you got any gigs? Any gigs this week? Anywhere that people can go and see you perform?
I'm in Bradford on Friday night. I'm emceeing a gig.
Oh no, I don't want to go there.
And next Monday night you're going to be in Horsforth. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, I won't be here, but I'm sure you'll find somebody else to come in.
Are you gonna come on and try and sabotage the show again?
Yeah. Too fucking right.
Yes. So next week we have part 2 of our Harry Potter special with the lovely Natalie Smeaton.
So she just messaged and says she can't come. What a shame.
Is she really?
She's doing a gig for me. I booked her a gig.
Have you really?
What a coincidence.
I think I've got a feeling that she would much rather be doing a Harry Potter special. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the show tonight. Thank you very much to Martin. Thank you very much to Dave. Thank you to everybody who has commented. Thank you to Lummy. Thank you to Webby. And we will be back next week with our Harry Potter special. Go to our Twitter feed. It's All Geek, at It's All Geek Twit. Go to our Facebook page and go to our YouTube channel. Go to Channel Lumb and watch Hospital Radio, or listen to Hospital Radio tomorrow night.
Hospital Radio. Box Office Radio.
No. Fuck Box Office. Hospital Radio. Just go to the Hospital Radio instead.
He's stolen someone else's act. That's somebody else's act, isn't it?
Hospital Radio? No, I just
comedian that does a Hospital Radio. DJ.
Yeah, I've worked with him. Yes, so he's a great guy.
Yeah, every week,
Ivan Brackenbury.
Every week I ask you about Box Office Radio, and I have to fight back the urge of saying Hospital Radio, and it's just slipped out that one time. Right. Sorry, Lummy. But folks, thank you very much. We will see you next week. Well, Nathan and I will, with Natalie Smeaton, because Lummy won't be here.
I'll be on at the start. You're coming on.
See you next week, folks. Thank you very much.
See you later, dudes.
Bye.